So I see some things happening in the semiconductor space today, and I thought I would make a video to kind of outline what's going on. So I got AMD up right now, and this is a pretty clean chart overall. And you can see here I have my Elliott wave mapped out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a pretty clean wave actually. And the first thing you'll notice is these pink circles. So we can see the stock continues to make a higher high, and with these orange circles it continues to make a higher low. The next thing we see is that you can see I got a green box, and then a purple box and a purple box. So generally waves 2 and waves 4 are about the same distance. And we can see here wave 2, it drops right here. Now if I duplicate that box and put it over here, we can kind of get a good feel for how far wave 4 is going to go down. And we can see here it was almost an exact match. So we can see it did drop about right here, rallied a little bit, and then dropped down just a tiny bit. Now we were in puts right here, so we were long puts, and then once it reached the bottom of here, we switched our position, closed out the puts, and bought calls, and we've done quite well here. Now how far will this go? So wave 5 and wave 1 also travel about the same distance. So if we measure out wave 1, which we've done here with the green box, and map it out here on the bottom of wave 4, we can see how high wave 5 is likely to go. And you know, it's going to go maybe to about 105 before we get a corrective wave. So probably not going to hang on to 105. I kind of have around like $100 price target, because sometimes 100, that price level alone can act as resistance. And then the last thing I want to point out is what also helped us jump into this bullish position was the fact that we have a positive RSI reversal here. So that is when you have a higher price in the stock but lower figures in the RSI over the same time span. And you can see here between February 24th and May 5th, the stock was up over that time span, but the RSI was down, and pretty significantly. So that was a pretty strong reversal we have here. So we jumped in, and you can see the stock has rallied significantly since then. Now things just don't go straight up. So, you know, there is going to be some pullback here. That's pretty normal after a rally like this. But I suspect once this pullback concludes, we're going to have some more bullish activity. Okay, so let's turn to SMH. So we have the positive RSI reversal like we saw in AMD. They're both semiconductors. Not a lot here. I do see that after the positive RSI reversal, we have the stock trading higher, so that's in line with what we would expect. And if I go to Taiwan Semi, this is a little bit of a different chart we have here. And we do have some support here if we draw the lines in. It dropped a little bit further to about 81.25. And right now it's contending with its bottom line of support. But what I really want to see if it drops below this mark right here, which is the bottom of this move. So if it drops below 82.36, it's about 80 cents to go. So I'll be watching for that. But overall, we're at this support level, so I suspect that we're going to see more bullish activity resume soon. And Qualcomm's also interesting. It's taken some damage here recently. We have a gap here. But what is catching my eye with this Qualcomm chart is that we have a swing failure maybe forming here. So I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if you're not familiar with what a swing failure is, it's when RSI breaks below 30, or if it's on the bullish side, it would be break above 70, but this is going to be the bearish scenario. So when it breaks below 30, and then it comes back above 30, and then it turns back around again and heads towards that 30 line, but then holds. It doesn't break through again, and then it resumes higher. So once it breaks the previous level high, then you know you're off to the races on the bullish side. I don't see anything here, but I think if I go back to TSM, there's an example of this. So here we saw the RSI break below 30 quite significantly, and then it shot back higher. Now if it would have stopped here and not broke up 30 again, this could have been a failure swing, but it didn't. It broke below 30 again, and then it moved higher. Okay, and then if it came back and stopped at 30, it would have been another failure swing, but it didn't. It broke below again, So then it moved higher, and then right here it stopped right at 30. And so that is the signal. So once it breaks the previous high after it went below 30, which is about 32.50, once it breaks that, that's the signal that you want to be buying, that the bullish activity is going to be in. And we can see here, so it failed to break 30 again. It moved above the previous high right here. And if you would have bought right here, it would have been about 61, and you saw what happened in the stock. It blasted up to, looks like 99. So when I go back to Qualcomm, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. I'm going to see, we're below 30 again, so I'm going to see if it comes back up, and then if it falls and stops at about 30, or maybe slightly above 30, and then once it moves above the previous high, that's the signal I'm going to be looking for to buy this name.